Guru, I've muted everybody. You can unmute and start, Guru. And the speaker also, Mrs. Gariyali, please, you can unmute yourself too.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of our Rotary Metropolis and our Heritage Group, I welcome you all today for this meeting of our Heritage Group, which has been going on for the past 1.5 years and more. Of late, we have been bringing out some speakers, guest speakers. In that line, the third guest speaker that we are going to have in our group today is Dr. C.K. Gariyali, a very well-renowned person. And she is from Kashmir and who has spent her entire life in Tamil Nadu. She's a Tamilian Bahu. So I have a great pleasure in welcoming her as the guest speaker of this meeting. May I request Dr. Ramkumar Raghupati to formally introduce the speaker of the day, Srimati C.K. Gariyali, IAS retired. Dr. Ramkumar, please unmute and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Guru. Am I audible?
Very much.
C.K. Gariyali, IAS retired, former secretary to the governor of Tamil Nadu. She is a postgraduate in medical and psychiatry social work from Delhi and also holds a doctorate in social work from the Delhi School of Social Work and Mother Teresa University. Studies in poverty alleviation at the University of Sussex and women empowerment at Queen Elizabeth Oxford University. She got a 1972, she got her IAS and served as collector of Chennai, South Arcot districts, and also served the secretary to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. She is known as a mother of self-help group and has written 5 books on them. She started cancer screening programs for ladies which helped Adyar Cancer Institute Hospital. And she also acquired a land which was adjacent to it through her influence in Rajbhavan, which they had made it their part of their hospital. She joined as assistant collector training in the year 1972 at Coimbatore. That's when I first met her, right? And she was doing a Coimbatore postings that interested her in our dance, musical programs, and culture of Tamil Nadu. And I've known her for the last 51 years, and the Natyajali Film Festival at Mahabalipuram and at Chennai and Chidambaram, Mailapu were all the brainchild of her, which is doing remarkably good progress and well known throughout the length and breadth of India. I've known her and her family for 51 years now. And her husband, who is in the audience here, is my classmate at Madras Medical College, MMCN. He's specialist in psychiatry. They are blessed with a son and a daughter. Born in Srinagar, I would not like to be between the nostalgia of our beautiful journey from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. The book was released by Mr. Hariharan, Coimbatore collector, in the year 2016. Chandrakant Gariyali, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good evening, good evening everybody, and namaste. Thank you for inviting me. And I brought my book. This is a new one. This is called Kashmir, the Land of Kashyap. So we'll talk a little bit about the book, which is already the old now, my beautiful journey from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, but this is the new one, which is about the Hindu and Buddhist heritage of Kashmir. And it was released yesterday in Delhi. So it's the latest. So after release in Delhi, We're going to talk about it today also. So somebody was going to do screen sharing with
Yeah,
me.
I will do that.
The photo
I will
file.
do that.
So could we begin with the first slide?
One.
So why I wrote this book was because in 1990, about 5 to 6 lakh Hindu people from Kashmir, they had to leave Kashmir and they had to go to, many of them had to go to refugee camps who didn't have resources to go and somewhere else. And they had to just leave their home of 5,000 years because this Kashmir, it's a legend is that it was created by Rishi Kashyap. It was a lake. The whole place, the valley of Kashmir was a lake, and it was called Sati Sar, the lake of the Sati. Sati is the consort of Shiva. So when everybody knows the story of Sati,
Are you able to see the screen share, madam?
Pardon? Am I not? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you able to see the screen share?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to tell you this land was created by Rishi Kashyap by draining the valley, by draining the water of the valley, through supernatural means, through engineering means, and so on. And this beautiful valley was created. Then he wanted to settle some very, study-oriented people, the intellectual people who will study there, will promote knowledge, will write. And he settled people there. And he brought people from outside and told them to live there. And so this is the impression of artists as the old Kashmir would have been when all these people lived there. This is how our women dressed. This is the type of houses they had. This is the background Shankaracharya temple, which is the temple looming on the hill in the city of Srinagar. So this is how I've done. So what happened when these people all left in 1990? I was in Tamil Nadu. I felt very bad because I couldn't do anything. And now the whole lot of people have left, and our entire culture of Kashmir, which was a very unique culture, that has got uprooted and that has got dispersed. So I decided to document the whole culture so that at least the posterity, our children, grandchildren, the younger generation who have gone to different parts of the world will be able to know how people lived, what were our rituals, what were our customs. Some of them are common to India, but some of them are very unique to Kashmir. So I have documented the history, and in 10 chapters, I have documented the saints and sages, the rites and rituals, the sacred geography, the pilgrim centers, and also towards the end, I have documented the exodus, what happened and what are the events leading to people finally leaving Kashmir and dispersing. So this is the first slide just to let you know how it could have been when everything was good. Next slide. This is how people lived. People are very religious. This is an elderly Kashmiri Pandit gentleman reading his scriptures. So just to give you some idea of the lifestyle, I brought some pictures. The next one, can you lift it little? This is a picture of my grandmother and grandfather getting married at the age of 6 and 8, because like rest of the India, children got married at that time very young age. So this is my grandmother and grandfather's picture getting married. Next. This is how the elderly lady, my grandmother used to dress like this. This is how the women dressed in those, even 30 years ago, before the Exodus, many elderly women dressed like this. They never used to wear saris or any other dress. It was Gandhiji who brought sari to Kashmir during freedom struggle. In 1947, Gandhiji visited there. And then he said women should come out of these very cumbersome clothing and should wear saris. And Gandhiji distributed two saris to each woman, each household. So that is how sari was introduced. Otherwise, women used to wear something like this. Next one is a house. Can we go? This is the house of type of houses people lived. Those who have come out, they had this kind of beautiful houses. It is a very unique architecture, mud and brick architecture with wooden trellis work. Each balcony will be covered and with different type of jali work and trellis work, which you can see in one of the houses. And this is the type of houses they have left and come and living and had to live in tents and refugee camps, So a lot of them, perished because they couldn't bear the heat of Jammu, heat and dust. And then next one. This is how a young woman would dress those days, and this is how a young man would be. There's a picture of young man also. Everybody used to wear a turban, and like in South also they used to wear turban and a pattu and tilak. So in Kashmir also that was a custom. Every morning people wore a tilak, they wore a turban, and I have seen that in South India also. Next one. This is a married woman, and married woman wore these big earrings. They were like you wear tali after the marriage. In Kashmir, they used to wear this long earrings. We call them dechhor, and that was the symbol of marriage. So, and every woman had a headgear. So head was, it was also because of cold, but it was also a custom to cover the head. Next one is a group of pandits, the olden days. The next one is a grandfather carrying his grandchild. Yeah. Next one. This mother and child. This is how the kids also dress with the little long thing because of winter. They wore a firal like this, and mothers wore a dress like that with a headgear. Next. So this one is a sacred thread group photo after a child's poodle, we call poodle sacred thread ceremony. So there's a little boy sitting there middle, and all the men are participating in the thread ceremony. Next one. This is a picture of marriage. So bride and groom are there, but as you see, olden days only men went as a marriage party. Women never used to go. So you see, there's no woman in the picture. Women used to be at home celebrating at home. The bride comes, then they will dance and sing and all that and have a party. But they never went went as part of marriage party those days. The next one. This is again a group of pandits, how they used to look. I just want to give an idea what it was and then what it is today. Next. So they were all learned scholars. So there's a group of them preparing the manuscripts. You can see. I just want to tell you their contribution to Sanskrit was highest in India. Out of 24 treaties written in Sanskrit, 22 were written in Kashmir, but only 2 written in rest of the India. So that much was a contribution. And all the Buddhist texts which were translated from Pali and Sanskrit to Chinese, these are the people from Kashmir who helped to translate all the Buddhist manuscripts which went to China with Huansong and other Buddhist scholars who came in search of Buddhist manuscripts. Next. Again, the grandfather and child. You see the gown, the farron which grandfather wore used to be so large with such a big neck. A child would fit inside because it was very cold. The children used to sit inside the grandfather's garment and they'll put their head out like this. So I just wanted to show you, even we have sat inside the farron of our grandparents. Next one. Now, this is the puja. I think Shivratri Puja is very important for us. So this lady is preparing these little pots, earthen pots, and filling them with food. So when Shivratri happens, we celebrate it as a marriage of Shiva. And marriage, Shiva and Parvati are represented by 2 big pots. And the rest of the Bhutaganas and Ganesh and Kumar and Yakshas and all the other party members, Nandis and all that, who come with Shiva for the marriage party, they are represented by small pots. But all are filled with food, all are fed because this is a feast for them. So she's preparing the small pots for the Bhutaganas and other marriage party of Shiva. The Shiva is the presiding deity of Kashmir. Next. Another lady sitting in her garden and basking in the sun. Then next one are children. We'll go to the children. Now in Kashmir, it used to be cold. So everybody used to have a fire pot. This is a fire pot. We call it kangadi. So you will keep charcoal in it, burning charcoal, and you carry it. So those days, in ancient times, there were no heaters and nothing. So everybody carried one, kept next to it. kept it under the bed also, kept it under the bed sheet also. No? They knew how to hold it without falling. Then the bed became warm and all that. And kept it under that large cloak also, held it inside. So it was a moving mobile heater going everywhere. And here these kids carrying their fire pots. Next. This is another young girl in the traditional attire, sitting. And this is an aristocratic Brahmin. It's an aristocratic Pandit who might be working in the court of a king or a prince. And next one. This is Maharaja Hari Singh. He's the last Maharaja of Kashmir. He is the one, who, because of him, we can say the problem happened because he was planning to probably become independent, remain independent like Nepal. But he was too close to Pakistan, and Pakistan would have anyway attacked, and he didn't realize it. So he was wishy-washy. When Sardar Patel got all the princes to agree to join India, to accede to India, he dilly-dallied it for a long time. In the meanwhile, Jinnah wanted him to join Pakistan, India wanted him to join India. He was sitting in the middle, in the fence, trying to weigh his pros and cons. In the meanwhile, Jinnah got very restless, so he attacked Kashmir. After he attacked the Kashmir, then he ran to India, and then he acceded to India. By the time Pakistani army, along with the Pakhtun from Afghanistan, actually they put Pakhtuns in front as if they are attacking, but they were backed by the army. They entered Kashmir, came right up to Srinagar, and they, in the process, they killed a lot of people, especially Hindus. Lot of Hindus, lot of Pandits they killed, and they did looted, and as they were advancing, they were quite barbarous, being from the tribes of that. They were the front, and the army was coming behind. So this is last Maharaja. Then he had to abdicate, and his son was the Yuvraj Karan Singh, his son. And after that, he came to India, and India, Kashmir joined India, but because of the ceasefire, the part of it remained with Pakistan. Some of our, one of the ancient universities called Shankaracharya, that is in Pakistan now. It was a very important temple and university for Kashmir. Next one. It is that around that time, they created a women's militia, and this is Nehru inspecting women's militia in Kashmir at that time. Next. This is my mother. So just to show you that women started wearing saris and all, and how they looked, and that is that. And next picture is we were living in Delhi, and this is Delhi, where Kashmiri New Year used to be. New Year is a very important festival. Actually, it comes exactly on Chitrai 1st. Chitrai 1st used to be Tamil New Year also. Now it was then fixed, date was fixed by English to 14th of April because of our rationalistic movement. We had a rationalistic movement in Tamil Nadu, and that movement said we don't want to consider Brahmins where the New Year should be. New Year is always on 1st of Chitrai, Indian New Year. So because of their Hulla Bullu, then the British government fixed it 14th of April. Same day they got Pongal also fixed for 15th of January. Pongal also used to vacillate, but like rest of the country, this Sankranti, it is Sankranti. It comes on different days. In Telugu, in Kashmir, in Punjab, in Maharashtra, the Pongal will come slightly different days. But in our Tamil Nadu, being very rationalistic, we influenced the government and got it fixed on 15th of January. Same day we got New Year fixed on 14th of April. Actually, entire India celebrates in 1st of Chitrai, and that is Kashmiri New Year also. We call it Navre. So 1st of Chitrai is our New Year also, like Yugadi and all that. Now, those days, even Pandit Nehru used to come and celebrate with us. This is my younger brother, my mother, my aunt and all. They're there in Constitution Club, we used to celebrate. And what happened after China War, he became so depressed because we lost the war. After losing the China War, he never came out for any functions. I just wanted to tell you how we celebrate. Even in Delhi, we used to celebrate Kashmiri New Year. Next. These are some old images of old Srinagar. The Srinagar is the place where majority of Hindus lived, majority of Pandits lived. And this is the second bridge where most of the, you could see that some of the temples are also seen in background. And this was the main place, main locality where they used to live in their second bridge. And you can see temple, the houses, very lofty houses and beautiful bridge. And then some more pictures are there of the old city. You can go down. Next one. This is the houses by the canal in the old city of Srinagar. That next one. Next one. You can go up a little more. This is again another area where Hindus used to live. This is another picture of the bridge where mainly Hindu locality was there. Then this is the artist impression of this called Habakadu, the second bridge. One of the artists had drawn it as Kapil Kaul. This is another artist had drawn the same bridge. His name is Ratan Paribu. These are the artist's images of that locality. Next one. This is, then I was coming to some of our great spiritual gurus. So this is the picture of Swami Lakshman Ji. It is at my back also. If you see, I have got at the back. Now, Swamiji was the last living master of Kashmir Shaivism. Kashmir people, they were followers of Shiva, and they followed a form of Shaivism called Kashmir Shaivism. Like in South, we have Shaiva Siddhanta, like a parallel philosophy of Shaivism was existing in Kashmir. It was called Kashmir Shaivism. Now, the difference between Kashmir Shaivism and rest of the Hindu philosophy is little bit is that you have to attain divine by self-recognition. The whole emphasis in self-cognition, self-recognition, you have to go inwards and you have to find it. So that is the main philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism, recognition, cognition, they say. The second thing which it says, which is different from Hindu philosophy, is they say the life is not Maya. We say it is Maya. You know, the whole life is Maya. Everything is Maya. It is not real. They say a absolute reality cannot create an unreal world. If the absolute reality which has created the world is real, then it cannot create an unreal. So this is also real. So that is another difference in Kashmir Shaivism. So it's very interesting. A third thing it says that you don't have to leave anything, you don't have to do this and that and all. You can be what you are. There is no dichotomy in material world and spiritual world, because in most of the philosophies they say material world is different and spiritual world is different. Now Kashmir Shaivism said while you can pursue all your material goals, you can pursue your spiritual goals also, and they are not antithesis to each other. So I just wanted to tell you about little bit about the philosophy which our ancestors followed, and which might have got diluted now, but this is what we're supposed to follow. And next one. This is another famous saint called Bhagwan Gopidas. He also was he was like a Siddha, like, you know, you have Siddha saints. He had, there are so many elements in nature, and Kashmir Shaivism said there are some 64 elements, and you have to master those elements. So I think the Siddhas are the people who master those elements. They master fire, they master water, they master all these things. No, they can walk over fire, they can walk over water, they can drink fire, you know, all those things. So they don't do it for public thing, but they master it to become Siddha. So he was one of the very famous Siddhas of Kashmir. Next one. So this was the oldest, you know, in India, we have had only few women saint poets. One has been Avayar, the second has been Andal, third has been Mirabai. Before Mirabai, we can say after Andal. Andal would have been 11th century. This is nearly about 14th century. So this is a 14th century saint, and Mirabai is next later. So we have just 5 women saints, and she's the one of the greatest women saints of India, who was born in Kashmir. And she's the one who, first time, you know, till her time, anything spiritual was written in Sanskrit, because that was the language of spirituality. All the text, anything sacred was written in Sanskrit. but it's the first time she used a local language. So she's the creator of Kashmiri verse, Kashmiri language. She's the founder of that kind of that part of literature, which became a Kashmiri sacred literature. Before her, it was all in Sanskrit. So that is her contribution to the language. Now, this lady, there's a lot of stories about her life. You know, she used to, when she got married young, because she was a spiritual person, she used to cross the river and go to the small Bhairava shrine and meditate there. So her mother-in-law, husband didn't like. Mother-in-law started telling her husband she goes across the river to meet somebody. And you know, all kinds of things. So one day when she was fetched water and coming back, then her husband struck the pitcher of water, the mud pot, and that it broke. But water stood there. And when water stood there, she came like that. She filled all the pots in the house, and remaining things she threw outside. A pond was created there, which was made till very recently. From 14th century till 1925 also, that pond has been seen by people. But after this happened, the people came to know that she's not an ordinary person. And then people started thronging there. So she left home and she became a sannyasi at the age of 24. So, and she has said such beautiful verses, which were never written down, but which remained in the folk memory, and they have come down to us up to 20th century, and now they have been written down. Beautiful spiritual poetry. Next one. This is another female poet, same way, of 17th century. Her name is Rupa Bhavani. Now, Rupa Bhavani is supposed to be actually the goddess herself who took the form of a girl. So her father used to be a great devotee of goddess, Sharika. And when every time, you know, he was doing penance and going around and taking the Girivalam and all kinds of things. So one day goddess appeared before him and asked him, what do you want? And he said, I want you to be born as my daughter. He said, okay. So she was born. But you know, then you were born as a human being, you're treated as a human being. She also got married, given in marriage. Again, she used to go in the night and go to the mountain and for meditation and all. Then again, her mother-in-law did like, you know, all judgment things. So they were torturing her quite a lot. So one day there was some festival. Her father sent a pot of, you know, a brass pot full of paisam, you know, you send to daughter's house. So mother-in-law said, oh, such a little paisam, I can't give to two people also. Then she said, you please start giving and don't look into the pot. So mother-in-law kept on giving. It was not getting over. And her hand started paining. Then she looked into the pot was empty. So anyway, so next day she was washing the pot on the river. And she told the pot, you go, my father is taking bath on that another ghat, you know, few miles away near his house. Go and meet my father. So pot floated and was caught with the father where he was taking bath. So it's very interesting things about these women. They were extraordinary. So she also finally, because of all these, you know, tortures, she had to leave home. And she went back to her father. Her father was her guru. Here she is with her father. And then she has done penance at 4 places, each place for 12.5 years, 12.5 years. So totally 50 years of penance she had to do. And she has also written very beautiful verses. So this is another saint poet of Kashmir, 17th century, Rupa Bhavani, which was actually the goddess incarnate. This is many miracles are told about her. One is that you know, there were that one particular place, ashram place, is called Manigram. There was a big fire, and when people told her there's a fire and you can't help it, and she said she doused the fire with looking at it with one glance. So that kind of power these women had. You just glance at the fire, and they have still kept a branch of that Shinarti that was put there, and that has become a huge tree. That tree is still there, which was out of one of the charred trees they had again put there back. So this is Papa. It's another interesting thing, you know, in Kashmir during Shivratri, many people cook fish, but she was a saint. She was in village headman's house, and they should not have done it. So they pretended they have not cooked it. She was staying their house guest, and they had cook the fish as is the custom for Shivratri. So what happened? The fish came out of the pots and they were crawling all over the walls. So he got exposed. He tried to hide and the fish came out and they're crawling all around. So there are numerous stories. I mean, they're limitless. So it's very interesting how these extraordinary women were born there. The next. These are some of the temples. This is the famous temple of sun. There are only few temples of sun around the world. And this was the most magnificent of them, most beautiful temple, extraordinary, which was destroyed in 14th century by one of the, after the Islam came in at 14th century, they started conversions and temples. But the 6th Sultan was extremely cruel. And then he got the title of Sikandar Butshikar. Butshikar means idol breaker, iconoclast. And he's known like that. So all the major temples, it was such a big temple, he was not able to break it. He created a separate department for 1 year just to break this temple. There was a department section just for breaking this temple. It still did not break. Then he filled the temple with firewood, fully firewood, and then burnt the firewood so that the whole place would be defaced and weakened. And for 1 year, he was burning his temple. So unfortunate, but it was built by a great king called Lalitaditya. Lalitaditya was a great emperor who expanded his kingdom right up to Karnataka, into India, and up to Afghanistan and Turkestan and many, many places. Part of Russia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other places, Central Asia. It was a huge empire. He had built this temple. And when this temple was destroyed by this Sikandar, they found a copper plate there. The copper plate said that when this temple was built, king had consulted the biggest astrologer of his time and asked him how long this temple will last. Because I believe they used to find out if they build something, what is the horoscope of this temple, how long it will be there. And the astrologer had made a very correct prediction, giving the date. And here when the temple will be destroyed and who will destroy it. It was written, there was a man called Sikandar who will destroy it. When this man read it, he was so furious that the Hindus could make such good prediction. He said, had I seen this before, I would not have destroyed this temple. Unfortunately, they have kept it inside the temple, not hung it outside the temple. Had I seen it before, I would not have destroyed it. Anyway, it was a very sad thing. And there's a picture drawn by a British architect, how the temple would have looked when it was okay, when it would have been so like this. So huge, so many shrines, such a big courtyard, such a big tower, so magnificent. Some of the images which are still there in walls from the temple of Hindu deities. Why I am showing you all these things? Because people think that Kashmir is a Muslim place. For 5,000 years, it was a totally Hindu place. And only from 14th century, when Islam came, then forcible conversions, destroying the manuscripts, killings, and murdering, all those things happened. Otherwise, if that had not happened, there might have been a mixed kind of society, but not totally Islamization would not have happened. These are from images, Hindu images from other temples. Dr. Nagswami has taken some of these photographs, the famous archaeologist of Tamil Nadu, Padma Bhushan Nagaswami, and he's given me some of his pictures. Next one. This is the ruins of Sharda Peeth. The Sharda Peeth was a place now which is in Pakistan. And when ceasefire happened, we should have taken it. We did it, and it's remaining in Pakistan. It's getting totally destroyed. Until 1947, we used to have pilgrimages to this place. Now, this used to be a university, and this is a contemporary university to Nalanda, Takshila, and Sharda. Now, Nalanda was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji. You know about that, the destruction of Nalanda University. Nalanda University had a lot of professors from Kashmir. And what happened when it was destroyed? They came back and then they went to Ladakh. That is why Buddhism is preserved in Ladakh by some of the professors of Nalanda University who ran and then took shelter in Ladakh and Tibet. They preserved the Buddhism there. There were some other people also, but they are also went back there with whatever knowledge they had. So the Sharda Peeth was destroyed also by the Sikandar Butchikar along with Takshila. Takshila is very close, just few hundred miles from this place. Takshila is in Rawalpindi in Pakistan, and that was a famous university, and the Sharda was very close, and a lot of interaction with of scholars. And interesting thing, what I want to tell you, our Adi Shankara was the first southern scholar to reach here. And when he reached here, he was very much honored because of his knowledge and they have a chair, you know, like universities have a chair. So they had to have a chair of all knowledge chair. It's called Sarva Gyan Pitha. So he was made to ascend that throne of Sarva Gyan Pitha and honored there as a great scholar. And so that's very important. And that the temple of Sharda was existing there. And it says the Shankara, before coming to Kashmir, did not know about Shakti. He was an Advaita scholar, but he did not understand Shakti. I believe he realized the power of Shakti only after coming to Kashmir. So few incidents happened when he was in Kashmir with his disciples. They wanted to eat. So they had a hostess. They went to somebody's house. That lady gave them, sannyasis used to cook their own food. So she gave them dal, chawal, sabzi, oil, ghee, everything, and the firewood and chula, everything, and said, okay, you make whatever. Now these fellows could not make anything because they did not. Morning when she came, she saw everything was like that. These fellows had left hungry. So she said, "Kya ho gaya? Why you people have not eaten?" She said, "We could make the fire." They could make the fire. And she laughed and she took some a handful of water and threw it on the firewood, and firewood burned. And Shankara realized that there is something called Shakti. So that's for one thing. Then the second thing was what happened. He saw an icon of Devi, you know. He said, it's only an icon. It's not Devi, it's only an icon. So when he said that, the head of the Devi started bleeding. Then he cut a part of his garment, whatever he was wearing, dhoti or whatever, white garment he was wearing, and then he tied it around the head of Devi, and then only bleeding stopped. And then he realized that there's something beyond what you're not understanding. And they said there's a tradition of women wearing that in Kashmir, on their cap, they wear a white band, and this is coming from the time when Shankara put a white band around Devi's head. That is a legend. Then he was so much, another thing, what was, he used to always argue against the Shakti. So one day he was very sick. So he saw one little girl appeared before him. And so she said, you are going to, when are you planning to do your argument and all that? He said, I am very sick. The moment I get my Shakti, I will go and go for that discussion. So he said, even you cannot function without your Shakti. So why are you talking against Shakti? I believe God has herself appeared before him and explained to him, why is he fighting against Shakti? When he himself says, I cannot speak, I cannot walk because I have lost my Shakti. When I get it back, I will go for this discussion. So he started realizing Kashmir only was the place where he realized the power of Shakti. And then he went to this place where we have now a temple called Shankaracharya Hill, we call it. There he wrote his famous book called Saundarya Lahari, which is in praise of goddess. So his book, which we all read and call it Saundarya Lahari, was written in Kashmir on the top of Gopadri Hill, which was named later as Shankaracharya Hill. I think we have a picture of that somewhere, which will come. So I wanted to tell you the connection with Sharda Peeth and connection with realizing Shakti. And then what happened, he became so enamored by Shakti. So when he came to Sharda Peeth, he took the essence of goddess with him and he established it in Shingeri. And there is a temple of Sharda in Shingeri. The essence of goddess has come from Kashmir with Shankara. Probably he knew it will be destroyed one day or whatever. He brought it with him. He established in Shingeri. That is why it is called Shingeri Sharda. It is not called only Shingeri. And that Sharda he brought from Kashmir. Next one. This is another famous temple which was built by King Avanti Varman, and its whole place was called Avantipura, very sacred place by the side of river. There were two temples there. One was dedicated to Vishnu and one was dedicated to Shiva, and both were destroyed by Sikandar Butsikan. And next one. Next. So this is the fort. We call it Hari Parvat Fort. Old fort. This you know, the compound wall, etc., was built by Akbar, who wanted to create a city there, but he never got that far. So this was just there. And on this fort, we have this temple of goddess Sharda, which is a form of Durga. Please go under. Next one. This one. This is on that temple. This is a modern structure because old one would have been destroyed and some simple. But this, the whole goddess is represented by that stone, which is of vermilion color, no sindoor wala, the stone with the vermilion. That is actually because we are all very symbolic people. Hindus are very into symbols. A stone will be God, a water will be God, the river will be God. So this stone represents goddess Durga, and that is on that hill. This is the temple of Shankaracharya, which I was telling you. Here, or sitting on this place, he has written Saundarya Lahari and also Sharda Bhajanvali or something. So two books in praise of goddess he wrote on this place. Later, a temple was made there, and afterwards, the Shankaracharya of Puri at some 100 years ago, he put an image of Adi Shankara also inside. There's a Shivling and image of Adi Shankara. Next one. This is the famous temple of Ganesh in city of Srinagar on the river. Now this also, many times destroyed, and because there's many times in a humble way rebuilt. But this is existing even at the time of Huan Sang. When Huan Sang visited Kashmir, he has mentioned in his record that near this temple, even a Buddhist vihara was existing, and he stayed in that vihara. It was called Ganpat Yar. Ganpat Yar means Ganpat Ghat, like Ganpat Yar Vihara. Huan Sang has stayed. Just wanted to show you. Huan Sang came and stayed in Kashmir for 2 years, studied all the Buddhist structures. The king treated him as a state guest, gave him 20 scholars to help him in translating all the Buddhist works from Sanskrit and Pali into Chinese. Next. This is the famous temple of Kirbani. Again, you see what happened in between 3-4 centuries. You could not go to your sacred places because there was so much of there was tax on being a Hindu, a tax on putting a pilgrim. So many people were killed, so many people left. So we stopped going to Amarnath. We stopped going to this temple of Kirbani. We stopped going to Martha temple. All these sites got lost. Later, when we had again Maharaja Ranjit Singh took over Kashmir, and then Dogra rulers were Hindus. Then, we little bit renovated all these and tried to find where they were. Some of these places were found where the Vivekananda Market temple, which I showed you, was lost. Nobody was anymore going there. But Vivekananda came to Amarnath Yatra, and he was searching for Market. He found it. And after he found it, the many tourists started going. When many tourists started going, then a group of priests settled there and to do pujas and all for people. Because that place is where you can do Shraddha Sharpani for your ancestors. It's a very special place, the Sun Temple. And that had stopped for many centuries. After Vivekananda, it again restarted. So just wanted to mention that Vivekananda's visit created a lot of curiosity where he's going, and then regeneration of interest. And then this Devi, it would be very interesting to find this Devi, which is in Kashmir, is supposed to be the most powerful goddess for us. And then everybody goes, it's called Kir Bhavani. Kir is Paisam. So people put Paisam for the Devi as prasad. So it's called Paisam Bhavani, Kir Bhavani. She came from Sri Lanka. Can you imagine? And her other name is Shama. And she is the goddess who is also in Devi Patnam near Rameshwaram. See what happened when this Devi, because she was living in Sri Lanka, and then Ravana's horrible behavior, she was not happy. And then when Rama took over Sri Lanka, she told him, I don't want to live here. You take me to some very beautiful place. Then Rama commissioned Hanuman ji to relocate goddess. And Hanuman ji then relocated goddess in Kashmir. And on the way, wherever he stopped, halted, all of the Devi temples are there. So first he halted at Devi Patnam. You know, Devi Patnam, Rama worshipped her. That is why Devi Patnam is very famous. I have been there. There are now Pashanas there. There's temple of Devi. So this Devi, which came from Srinagar, halted at Devi Patnam and then went on to Tikar and some other places, Bhuvneshwar and all. And then finally reached Kashmir, was there. And of course, she again got lost during Muslim period when the temple was destroyed and all that. And then again, it had to be rediscovered and found. So when Vivekananda went to this temple, he was very upset. So he was telling Devi, if I only had been here when these people did this, I would have given my life. I would not allow this to happen. Is that he was saying. And Devi appeared before him and told him, it is my wish this should happen. It is my wish. If I want, I can build a 7-story golden temple here. Am I protecting you or are you protecting me? Then Vivekananda realized that everything happens with the God's will. And he cannot question Devi. He is not protector of Devi. Devi only is protector of him. So it's a very interesting place. And this is inside a spring. The spring changes colors. If something bad has to happen, the color will change to black. If something good has happened, it will change to blue and green and all that. So people also go there every year to see what Devi has decided, what color will be the future. Very interesting. Next. Next, sir. Are you showing the next? Mr. Gurumurthy, this is our Amarnath, cave of Amarnath. You know about it. And this happens on the day of Raksha Bandhan, Shravan Purnima. Shravan Purnima is the conclusion of the pilgrimage to Amarnath. Now, this also was lost to us because several centuries we could not go there. Because see, once you stop people from going there, what will happen? So this is the place where Shiva explained to Parvati the secret of creation. Very, very important place. Because Parvati asked him, why are you wearing this mala of skulls? Why are you wearing this mala? He said, every time you die, I add one skull to my mala. Because Parvati died so many times and Shiva has been always there. Shiva is immortal. So he said, every time you die, I add one skull here. So, but she said, but why? Why are you not dying? Why only I am dying? Then he said, I'll tell you the story of immortality, Amriteshwar. But it should not be heard by anybody else. We have to go to a very lonely place. And he searched this cave. And then, so the story, he told the story of creation, about mortality, immortality to Parvati at this spot. The interesting thing is this manuscript, which gives the dialogue of Shiva and Parvati, is a very famous dialogue, which was lost because, you know, the Muslim rulers destroyed most of the manuscripts. Because whatever people ran away with something here and there and did rest, otherwise they threw manuscript into Dal Lake, they destroyed and burned libraries, they did everything possible to destroy all the knowledge. So, you know, I showed you the picture of Swami Lakshman, the first saint I showed you, the last living authority. He found this manuscript and he then, an Englishman who wrote a book called Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, because this philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism very close to Zen philosophy of Zen Buddhism. So he has put it as an annexure, translated in evening, the dialogue of Shiva and Parvati, which took place at the cave of Amarnath. It is in the book called Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. So if anybody wants it, the book is available on Amazon. Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. Yes, next one. These are beautiful tribal girls, the shepherd family girls taking grass for the sheep. On the way to Amarnath, when we go on Yatra, we see these women. And there's another woman below carrying the firewood. She belongs to the tribe of another tribe called Gujars, who look after the animals, the cow herds. So that is goat herd and cow herd. Next. These are all the scenes on the way to Abhinav. The horses are resting by the lake. This is Shivratri Lake. The lake of the serpent teeth. So when we take the Yatra to Amarnath, the first place is Chandanwadi, the forest of sandalwood. The second place is Sheshna, the abode of the serpent king Shesha, the Shesha's back. It's so beautiful, so pristine. You can't imagine the color of water. And if you sit there, how refreshing it is. And next one. Now coming back to the culture, the tea is very important part of our cuisine, and tea is made in this particular patram. It is called samavar, and it's drunk in this kind of cups which are made of alloy of copper and brass called bronze. So these are all bronze cups because they don't get spoiled. The copper gets food gets spoiled in copper and food gets spoiled in brass. So Kashmiris always ate in bronze. Bronze plates, bronze cups, bronze samavas, that's all. And they have an array of baked products which they eat with their tea. Next. This is a vegetarian feast. So they have a lot of paneer. This is red paneer, this is yellow paneer, this is dum aloo, this is bangan, that is eggplant in tamarind, this is greens, this is rajma, the kidney beans, this is lotus root, and etc. So this is the type of thing they eat when they are fasting. It's a fasting meal. Actually, it's a fasting feast. Next one. Now we are coming to all those things changed when in 1990, when the militancy again started. They started with killing of the prominent people. The announcements were made from mosques to leave the place or die. And then one fine day, there was so much of scare was created that everybody left, almost because they killed professors, they killed government servants, they killed people working in telephone department, working in Doordarshan, anybody who was of any Muslim also who was of little moderate view, they killed. They killed a vice chancellor who was Muslim who did agree with them. So this is the picture of Exodus and how they're burning the houses and people have to leave and go. So this one artist called Pankaj Rana, he has made this painting. I have included his painting there. Exodus by Pankaj Rana. Next one. This is the women, old women who had to go to the camps and live there. And many old people died because they could not tolerate the heat. They were living in tents. There was dust and heat and disease and scorpions and snakes. So many of them died of snake bites and illness and all and depression. Many people just died of depression. Next one. This is another, especially elderly people perish like anything. This is how they moving from all those beautiful houses. They were living like this in Jammu. And even today, about 40,000 people are living. I am working with these people for the last 5-6 years, and I'm trying to educate the children. So the majority of them who are little more capable, who are educated, who had jobs, who had some money, who had some property, they're all doing very well across the globe. They're all very good positions and all that. But there are about 40,000-50,000 people who are still in. Now the tents are not there. There's a government built tenements. There's also the refugee camp. They're living there because they didn't have education, or they were petty shopkeepers, or they were petty farmers, and they could not continue their education, or their education was disrupted. So they just lost everything. So this is the images of those camps. Next one. This is one woman sitting forlorn, not knowing what to do. So I've been working with these people, and I've been meeting authorities whenever I go. We are giving scholarship to children to study. We are giving books to people who are appearing competitive exams in state government and other sectors. So I'm personally helping. The COVID time, we have given food, we have given medicines and so on. So I have also represent their causes. I'm with governor. Every time I go, I try to meet the governor or whoever is in authority and represent their cases, whatever they immediately require. So this was my meeting with then Governor Mr. Murmu in 2020. Next. So what I was telling you, even as late as 2020, they killed another man who was a consular in Anantnag, Kashmiri Pandit. You see, it's not the killing has stopped. They're still doing it, right? So this is the fight for going back. And next one is the man who was killed. Again, though it's not that 90s ke baad killing stopped. Even today they are killing people. Can we take it up? We show see the face of Mr. Bharti who was killed. So he was trying, a lot of people are working for return of people, and it's working for people coming back, and especially the people who small landowners and all, they would like to go back to their land. Small shopkeepers, they like to go and start their shop. You know, they cannot, they're not getting big jobs. They're not going to be working in MNCs and all that. They have not been able to educate their children. So a lot of help was done by people like Bal Thackeray. He was the first person who opened all the colleges for their children, said very nominal fees and gave admissions to children. Then Krishna of Bangalore, he gave one seat in every stream in every college. So many kids, but even those people whose they could not even avail that, you know, they have been left behind. A lot of help came from these two governments, Bal Thackeray and Krishna. After that, only government of India woke up. First, these state governments have done yeoman service. Then government of India made, you know, then Haryana government, Punjab government, Delhi government, then, you know, some other governments. And so a lot of kids got educated. They're all doing very well. But those who could not, and the question is that. So this man was killed, and this is what people are still demanding justice for him. Next, is that all? Is that lost? So this is what is happening, and this book also, because everybody is left, there is a danger of losing all our culture. So I have documented all our fairs and festivals, all our saints and sages, all our marriage practices, which were very unique, which we cannot follow now. And see what happens today. Even everybody has to cut short the things and all. So this is how I have written this book, and I hope that communities could come together. I am just saying that it appears to be that the entire land is under curse. The land of Kashyap is under curse, because even those Hindus came out and they're in, well, some are in refugee camps, some have settled well, but they have lost their roots, they have lost their culture, they're losing their language. The younger generation don't even know how to speak the language, they would not to follow any of the customs. So what was a Kashmiri culture will be lost. That is why I try to document. So it's a very difficult situation, and I'm hoping that there will be conditions will be created for people to go back. So what I'm saying, even people who remained there, the Muslims and all, they were also before they converted, they were also Kashyap children. Now the land is under curse. It's not a family where somebody would not have died. You know, either by cross-firing, all becoming a militant, or crossing over to Pakistan, or by Indian Army, or by some other thing. So it's not that they could be happy. So everybody is under curse. So unless they all decide to remove the curse, I am saying the curse will be only removed when once again our ancient culture comes back. Once again, our temples are ringing their bells. The pujas are happening on the river. The river is worshipped as it was worshipped before. That sacred environment has to be created for everybody to live in happiness and peace. So that is how I'm trying to end the book at a happy note. I will open the thing for any questions and on, if anybody wants, or anybody wants to comment.
Very nice explanation about Kashmir, madam, which we never knew that this side of Kashmir, what you spoke about, all that is quite new to us. Of course, the ancient Kashmir was something phenomenal and great. We have learned a lot about the Kashmir Saivism and all that, especially Abhinav Gupta, who wrote the treatise of Bharatanatyam Shastra, that Shastra,
Yes.
Shastra. He is from Kashmir. But
Amazing, isn't it?
yeah, he is the Bharatanatyam, whatever he had written, is followed in Tamil Nadu. So what is the connection between Abhinav Gupta and Tamil Nadu?
I'll tell you. Now, it's very interesting because everybody thinks Bharatanatyam is the southern art form, but the first mention of the dance being performed according to Bharata, not calling it Bharatanatyam, but dance according to Bharata, comes from Kashmir in 6th century, from the temple of Martand. You saw the temple of Martand,
Yes.
the sun temple. As a very clear mention in one of the ancient books, when the king visited the temple, Devdasis welcomed the king by performing a dance according to Bharata. And this was found by no less than a person than Padma Subramaniam. When Padma Subramaniam read a paper, scientific paper in 5th Tamil conference mentioning this, lot of Tamil people wrote against her, saying Padma Subramaniam Desh Drohi. She is telling dance came from Kashmir. She didn't say it came from Kashmir. She said the first earliest mention, recorded mention, comes from Kashmir, which is a fact. There's no other text anywhere in India mentions it. It was performed in Martha temple as early as that. Maybe it was performed in other places also, but the mention is not available. So that's one thing. Second thing is the only elaborate treatise about it is written by the Kashmiri scholar, Shaivite scholar Abhinav Gupta, and which is being used even today. And then another thing I want to tell you, the connection with Carnatic music. The Sarang Dev, who wrote Sangeet Ratnakar, based on which southern classical Carnatic music is based on, that Sangeet Ratnakar. Now he came from Kashmir, but then there was a very bad time, it was a very bad ruler, Harsha's rule, and many scholars left. And he came and settled in Yadava territory in Deccan. And then he wrote the Sangeet Ratnakar. His family came from there. And he is the founder of Carnatic music. There's a lot of connection because when scholarship comes, when people work on subjects, they may work in Kashmir. Because that was the place where universities were. The other place was only Kashi. So there were only two places scholars used to work. And most of them worked in Kashmir.
It was the greatest seat of Hinduism once upon a time.
Yeah, it was. And also Buddhist. I just want to tell you, the 4th Buddhist conference, that was the last Buddhist council, that was held in Kashmir, in Harvan. And that was held by Kanishka. You all know the King Kanishka. Kanishka organized the Buddhist council in Kashmir in a place called Harvan. And a lot of Kashmiri scholars, even the person who presided over the conference was not a Buddhist, he was a Hindu scholar, Vasu Gupta. He was made the presiding officer. And there were so many Hindu and Buddhist scholars who participated. And after that, no council has happened. 3rd council happened in Patliputra. And 2nd happened in Sri Lanka. The first would have happened in, again, Patliputra. So you see, this 4th conference, Nagarjuna was there. Nagarjuna, a southern scholar, he was working in Kashmir for a long time in this Harvan, this place. And he participated in it. So after this conference that happened, a lot of people from Kashmir, a lot of scholars from Kashmir, they went to China, Korea, Afghanistan, Central Asia, Japan, Sumatra, and Indonesia and other places to propose Buddhism. Maximum, you will be surprised to know, we say that the monks went from India to spread Buddhism. We think it will be from all over India. They'll say maximum monks for spreading Buddhism went from Kashmir, not from any other parts of India. Only few went to Sri Lanka alone from some other parts. Much of the people went from Kashmir. Kumar Jiva, Gunavarma. Gunavarma was Prince of Kashmir. He left and became a monk. He refused to be the king and went to China. And Kumarji was the one who translated the Lotus Sutra from Sanskrit to Chinese. And Lotus Sutra is the main thing for Buddhists all over the world. The Lotus Sutra was translated by Kumarji, a Kashmiri scholar, and then he took it to. So, especially this Guru Varma. So they have painted all the halls in China, with Bodhisattva stories. Kumarji, they are the great painters. All the Tibetan monasteries and Ladakh monasteries, they were painted by Kashmiri artists in 11th century, 12th century. So a lot of contribution to Buddhism also.
One more question, madam. The Kashmir Saivism was so prominent in our culture. Do you have those Kashmir Saivism practicing Pandits still?
I think the people who can control the elements, I don't think there'll be many, but people who can talk about it will be many. But I think the meditation and other things, you can't go to that advanced. I think they were all in South also, they were only Siddhas who could control the elements. They were people like that. I showed you a couple of pictures. There were people like that. But today to find such people, I'm not sure. But there are people who meditate according to that, who try to, the scholars, foreign scholars, it's Kashmir Shaivism is taught in Oxford. I was surprised when I went to Oxford for doing my women's studies. I met somebody, one young scholar who was having lunch with me and told me I'm doing English boy. I'm studying Kashmir Shaivism. I was studying Sanskrit and Kashmir. So who could teach here? And he told me this Professor Sanderson in All Souls College. So, and I said, but where he learned? He said he learned in Kashmir from Swami Lakshman. I showed the picture of the man. Then he said, okay. Then he said, I said, I like to meet him because Swami is like my father. So I went to, he fixed an appointment for us. I met Sanderson. Sanderson said, I lived with Swamiji for 10 years. He got married in Kashmir. He found his bride there. He came and that he's holding the chair of which our president Radhakrishnan was. Radhakrishnan was the professor of Oriental religions and holding that chair in All Souls College. And Sanderson is holding that chair. So we gave me a tour of college, showed me the portrait of Radhakrishnan also. So the thing is, it is now being taught all over the world. Then he told me, I'm going to teach a course next week. Why don't you join? And I have never learned anything formally, I said, why not join? So he was teaching Tattvaloka. Tattvaloka is the main text of, so I went there was a class for eight weeks. We had half day class. So I went for that when I was there. And when the first day I went, I saw there were 24 students from different parts of the world. They were from France, they were from Japan, they were from Korea, they were from England, America. I was so delighted when we don't study, but all over the world they're trying to, because this is a very unique philosophy where it accepts material world. It doesn't say world is a mind. It says you have to look into yourself and find, which is very modern, very contemporary in thinking. So when I came there, he introduced me to the whole class. He says, I am today going to introduce to somebody for whom, for centuries and centuries, Kashmir Shaivism was a way of life. So I felt very proud when he introduced me like that.
Thank you. Any questions from any others?